war cannot be sustained anymore. And that clarity is not there. And the real threat is in that haze of war, a disaster should not take place, because eventually, at the end of the day, the people will suffer, whether in Israel or in Iran. So this was on point one. In the second on point, we'll look at the rising incidence of mid-air emergencies around the world, but after a short break.
This is the drive of your dreams. Introducing the all-new Skoda Kailak. Own your dream.
Skoda. बढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
Darkness in the silence of the night, where the roads carry.
Let there be dark. Scorpio N Carbon is here, the big daddy of SUVs.
Within a span of 36 hours of the Ahmedabad air disaster, multiple separate in-flight emergencies have been reported from across the world. These incidents have left flyers on edge, from close calls to diverted flights to technical glitches in aviation. They are on rise. Number of issues have come up in last 48 to 72 hours. Let me straight away introduce my guests. Group Captain V.N. Jha, Senior Scientist, former Director DRDO, and Captain Nishan Khalid, Aviation expert. Sir, I'm not going to waste my time. On the right hand side of the screen, the number of issues that have come up are being listed. My question to you, Mr. Jha, is if you look at last 72 hours, these issues have been reported globally. Why is this happening?
Well, Karthik, very good evening to you. And for all your viewers, I must say that there has been a lethargy into the system of aircraft maintenance, not only in India, all over the world, wherever they are, especially the private firms, private operators, there have been lethargy into the system, essentially for economic reason, but there could be other reasons as well. Now, in India, we used to say ke chalta hai. That sort of mindset has been there in situ for quite some time. We have seen Indian Airlines aircraft or Air India aircraft in the past when it was with the government. Some seat will be dangling, even jeopardizing the crash worthiness of those seats and things like that. Many things are like that. That has been like that, which the management or the technical team of the agency, if they felt that it is not interfering immediately with the safety standards or safety performance of the aircraft, they usually allowed it. But after the accident that has happened, the focus is onto the maintenance of the aircraft, and suddenly all these smaller parameters have come into the focus of the light, and today no aircraft operators are even willing to take a chance with those smaller elements into the aircraft that has been ailing for ages together. So what you are seeing right now in the 36 hours is nothing new, is the old perennial symptoms, what is being right now manifested into the various form, and not only manifest was already there. Now it is catching the eyes of the people, the doctors who have to treat it. So the straightforward answer is that please have that. In aviation we call it hygiene. There is a aviation hygiene into the maintenance schedule. That aviation hygiene of the perfectness of the acceptance or no acceptance, that has to be there in any system. wherever you feel that there is a deviation from the normalcy, where any system can go wrong, it will go wrong. That is the aviation rules. If at the time of maintenance or taking the aircraft out of the hangar, if there is anything that can go wrong, it will go wrong. That is the rule of thumb law in the aviation. So it is the time that all aircraft operators, they do take pay cognizance to this particular segment of the air maintenance and address it amicably.
Okay, Captain Khalid, at a broader level, sir, do you think that it's also a result of companies prioritizing profits over safety?
Very good evening to you, sir. First of all, let's understand that India has a very phenomenal Indian aviation growth story unfolding in last maybe 4 or 5 years. So the demand for everything, whether it is pilot, engineer, controllers, infrastructure support, it is outstripping the supply. That is a unique story with India right now because we are in that growth phase. Number two, talking about the checks, there are two kinds of checks that for your viewers. One is mandatory checks, which is related to safety. And these mandatory checks, no airline, no operator can actually bypass because that is related to safety, and these are the mandatory checks for bulletins. Recommended practices in which they say that you should be doing it, but it is left to the operator whether to do it or not to do it, because it is not actually related to safety but long life of the component. Let's put it like that, or maybe operational efficiency or fuel efficiency that way. Okay. The third thing, the present increase in the number of emergencies that we are seeing, and not really emergencies, malfunctions, people coming back. It's of course it's a mixed anxiety on part of all the operators, engineers, controllers, pilots, everyone. Such a big accident has happened, and it does not make us more anxious about it. It is not a right thing to understand. That yes, we are taking. It's something like this that maybe 1 week back I would have actually taken off with a bulb fused. Okay. It may be a lavatory bulb. Okay. But today, since the focus is that there is a electrical malfunction that could have actually caused this particular thing, okay, the pilots are really jittery. If there is any problem with the oven or with lights or music system, we are not going. There is an electrical problem, fix it. But that was, if you see the whole video beforehand, that, the seat wasn't reclining and the music system is not working. This is what you see. Okay, but you also deduce that, there would be few things that we don't see and they may also not be working. So till such time that we find exactly what has gone wrong, everybody will be over anxious, over cautious, which is good for the safety of passengers. It will cause delays. It will cause cancellations. It will cause inconvenience to passengers. Okay. But I think that is good for the aviation that we are learning. If we don't learn, if we don't change ourselves for betterment, then I think we are doomed. But right now, what we see, the problem does not look to be focusing on the engineering, maintenance, pilot training. It is purely manufacturing of the aircraft, which is in the focus. Is there an electrical signal that led to both engine failure and the accident?
Actually, that was my question. That was my question. Manufacturing,
Right.
Two players trying to make best of what they have, which is profits.
Right. When we start barking on Air India, new management, pilots, DGCA, we are barking on the wrong tree.
Absolutely.
Right now, 99% focus is on the fact that the aircraft lost both engine with digital precision. It could not have happened because of malfunction in training, malfunction in maintenance, fuel contamination. You can talk anything. It can only happen due to a digital readout going as a wrong signal and thereafter shutting both engines down. The aircraft suddenly at about say 50 feet, 60 feet became a glider. The videos with sound, people are listening to the rat sound and saying propeller sound. Come on. two such big engines producing, 70,000 pounds of thrust, it would be like roaring engine. It is not roaring. The aircraft is almost like a glider going down. The sound of the aircraft doesn't look that both engines are revving up to its maximum power and going down. Okay, so the problem, while it is a very good opportunity for us to look at the DGCA, the rules, regulations, whether the airline is cutting down the cost. Of course, the airlines are a money-making business entity. But the airlines realize that, every penny that you make, for 20 years, one such crash can close the airline down. Today, if it is found that the engines failed because of a manufacturing defect, not only the airline, but even the Boeing can face a bankruptcy kind of a scenario. It's such a huge blow to an airline. So people the aviation experts who run an airline, they do not really want to save penny and then close down the company. 20 years of profit, this one accident will take away.
Absolutely. In a closing, very well summed up, sir. Very well summed up. Mr. Jha, do you agree with this assessment?
By and large, yes, except the manufacturing part. Any of the designers, you talk to them, there is a particular process in which we design a system. I have been involved, you are aware, in some of the systems in the LCA, and it is a very critical issue. We invariably run through the FMECA, what we call it, failure mode and criticality analysis for every system and every subsystem. So just to blanketly say that there was a manufacturing problem, design would have been frozen, the regulating agency would have approved it, certification agency would have cleared it, and then during the manufacturing, there is a QA process, quality assurance process, that have you manufactured those components as per the specifications, as per the manufacturing practices? If the answer is yes, then you accept it, and while accepting it, the same aircraft would have been running for such a long period. Of course, that is no reason to say that it will not fail subsequently because of the manufacturing defect. But then the entire lot of fleet has been flawless for such a long time.
Sir.
So to blame manufacturing at this stage without proof should be slightly premature.
Okay. I've really run short of time, but Captain Khalid, 30 seconds to you. 30 seconds. I've really run short of time.
While it is true what Group Captain Jha has said, but Boeing 737 MAX has proven that having gone through all this certification process, there was a software bug which would take over the aircraft like a giant and put it in the nose down and crash. And after two such crash and a lot of public pressure and investigation, they actually came to find this is a problem. The same thing also happened in Boeing 737-200 aircraft, where the aircraft rudder system would malfunction and take the aircraft to ground. So, coming back to 787, in January or July of 2019, two engines failed in Osaka, ANA, Air Nippon Airways, and it failed on ground. The Boeings came up with some theory as to why the engines failed. They could not start it on ground.
Okay.
So this is the second time that both engines have failed at exactly the same moment.
I think you have made your point. I think you have made your point, and this is what is causing the anxiety to a lot of people. I agree with you, and this is why this anxiety is not only reflecting with those who are flying the plane, but those who are flying in the plane. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me, and this is all I have today on Point. I will see you at the same time tomorrow. Thank you, and good night.
खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कर आता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया